episode of Mate y Soccer. I'm actually here with a really special guest. What's up? It's Fafa Picault. How you doing, man?
I'm good, my man. How you doing?
I appreciate the time. I know it's very early in Houston, and I appreciate that. Early bird gets the worm, you know what they say? But
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
thanks so much.
Nah, no doubt. It's a pleasure.
And for all you guys, you definitely know who this guy is, but if you don't know, this is a 2021 MLS MVP nominee. So 31 games, 11 goals, 5 assists. I mean, it's truly a pleasure to have you on the show. I was talking to Edgar a little bit about, what players we can have on, and I was doing a little bit of research about the Houston Dynamo players, and I saw a couple of pictures of you, and I it didn't, it didn't really click in my mind. I saw some pictures of you holding something, and I was like, wait, where are you from? You got Haitian parents. You're from New York, and I'm like, you must have had a best friend that was Uruguayan or Argentinian growing up, because you are always holding mate, and that's like, what's up with that? I need to know what's going on.
So when I first got to so I was always as a kid I was a big River Plate fan, but
Okay.
then when I moved to Cagliari, so I was familiar with Mate, but when I moved to
Uh huh.
Cagliari, the captain was Diego Lopez, and then in that team was Mateus, Joaquin Larive, and then I
Mm.
think one or two more Argentinos and Uruguayos,
Yeah.
and the first time they offered it to me, I was like, all right, what is this? Like, I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
think I'm
Yeah.
gonna like it. I've seen it, but I don't really think I'm gonna like it. And I didn't the first time. I was like,
Of
this
course.
is
Yeah.
mad bitter. Like, I don't
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
And then a month later, I was craving it just by
Oh.
myself. So I pulled back up to the locker, and then Larive was like, I asked him, I was like, yo, can I get some more mate? Like, you have any
Yeah.
in here? He was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I started from there, and then I became addicted, man. So from like
That's
17 years old till now, I've been hooked.
That's awesome. That's really funny because out of all the people that have tried mate, out of my circles, they hated it, man. So
Yeah.
it's like it's hard to put something
It's hard to
on that,
convince people. It's hard to convince people to like
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
really weird.
My grandma used to put sugar in it, so like that was her little trick. She would put sugar in it, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cheating, though.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes I throw sugar, but I'd say the majority of the time I just drink it bitter.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely a tough drink to take down, but I appreciate that, man. Thanks for coming on Mate Soccer. We
Ah,
usually
definitely,
have on
man.
like
I love the name. I
guys
love
that
the
don't know
name of the
what
show.
mate is, but I appreciate that.
No doubt, man.
Cool, cool. So you know 7 languages. I mean, how
Yeah,
do you have time for all of that, man? Like you bang goals in, during the day, and then at night you're on Duolingo doing three
yeah.
things. What are you doing?
I moved a lot, man. I moved a
Mm,
lot, and since young, I just wanted to be a part of a lot of cultures and understand different languages and different, not just languages, but dialects and cultures of different people around the world. So,
yeah.
with moving, with soccer, you get a lot of different teammates. You
Mm,
try to pick up people's languages, and then I was blessed enough to be able to move to certain countries where I was forced to learn,
yeah.
and so I picked up a lot of languages along the way. It's pretty fluid, man. If you just move through the countries, you have no choice but to learn if you really try.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm out in Japan, and I am picking up some Japanese. That's for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I know. I know.
It's tough, man.
11:30 at night for me. So yeah. Yeah. Um,
Dang.
truly international right here. Talking about mate. You're in Houston. Talking about your time in
Drink
Italy.
mate
Now
in
look at this.
Japan, my man. That's different.
No, no. Well, you know what? There's actually a lot of Brazilians out here, and
Are
they bring
there?
the mate. So yeah, it's a little different. Like their bombilla is a little bigger, right? So it's kind of
Yeah.
like it's a little awkward for us Argentinian Uruguayans. It's like, oh, it's a little
Yeah.
big, right? Yeah. But
That's cool. I didn't know that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They got a big Brazilian kind of community out here, so that's why like I think like Honda, that famous Japanese player, he went to go play in
Yeah.
Brazil.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know. I knew there was a lot of Japanese people in Brazil, but I didn't know there was a lot of
yeah,
Brazilians in Japan.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's kind of like both ways because
That's
they have
cool.
kids and then they want to come to the mainland, type of
That's
thing.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah. All right, cool, man. And so I saw you have a new single out. I mean, I saw
Yes.
you were singing out. Like what's up with that? You got time to do that too?
Yeah, man. So I grew up singing in the church, and then
Mm,
I had like a lot of big Haitian artists that are either family or close family friends.
mm,
So I did want to express that at some point, but I didn't have the time with traveling, switching countries. I was
yeah,
in Europe for almost 10 years, so
yeah.
being over there, I didn't really get the time that I wanted to maybe put into some music. and obviously my priority and all my focus goes to soccer. But the moment I had the time and the chance, it just had to be right. And I got with
Yeah.
Kenji Sukar, um, who's a Peruvian American who I used
Yeah.
to play with youth soccer with, and my dad coached. Um, he heard me singing. He was like, "Bro, we got to do something." So we did the rendition to "Ojalá que llueva café," and then we still have. I still got about 2 to 3 more projects we're finishing, or we just finished that we haven't released, that I'm
That's
working on
awesome.
with him, and also with Bom Bom, who's another producer out in Miami.
Oh, that's awesome. So like after soccer, do you think you're going to be a full-time singer? Is that something you're looking at?
I'd say that I'm gonna be a full time agent, but I definitely would like to push the music as far as I can. Especially even right now while I'm playing, it doesn't
Yeah.
distract me from the game. If anything, it's kind of therapeutic.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
I don't really go out, so that's my fun. Is writing music, making music,
Yeah.
being in the studio, as opposed to maybe another hobby. So I think it's healthy for all players to have hobbies. But if it could be
Yeah,
my
definitely.
second talent, that's my hobby. That's even better.
Yeah, hey man, like it sounds like you live in life. You get paid to play soccer, then you drink mate, and then you sing for a living. You know, so it's like, dang, you know.
Definitely, man. I try, man.
Dope, dope. So I got some fans to ask us some questions here, and one of the fans asked, "Where do you get your fashion style from?"
Mine is kind of like a blend. I'd say when I was much younger, it was purely New York.
Mm,
But then with my brother, who was like, he was very critical of stuff I'd wear if it was wrong. So I never wanted to wear the wrong outfits.
mm,
And then moving to Italy, I got a blend of Italian and also New York. And then I
yeah.
have I like to throw in a little Parisian style. But I'd say
Okay.
what kind of throws it off is sometimes I'll throw in I'm very fond of the Japanese and Korean fashion as well.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
it really for me is just a matter of blending, but it has to look clean.
Mm,
Whatever I think everybody can express themselves through their own fashion, but whatever
yeah,
you do has to be clean. But expressing yourself in your way, it's not because I can see something on somebody else and be like, "Wow, that really looks good on that person," but I know it's gonna
yeah.
look horrible on me, so I won't buy it.
Mm,
And the same vice versa, it could look good on me, but it won't look good on someone else. So you have to know your body, know your skin tone, know your,
yeah,
understand your swag, and just be yourself with your clothes and just
yeah.
enjoy piecing things together.
Yeah, you always got to make sure that the colors go with your skin tone, right?
Yeah,
Like that's a big one.
definitely, man. And body frame. There's
Yeah,
some
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
I just can't wear, man. Oh.
Hey man, I'm a big guy out here, and like in Japan, I know the fashion style, and like, hey, I can't wear like this big yellow jacket, dude. I look
Those,
like
yeah,
Big
they're
Bird out here,
fire,
you
but
know.
yeah, I get you. I get you. Look
Cool,
awkward.
cool. So what do you like most about Houston?
Man, honestly, I love the diversity.
Mm,
Um, you have people from all parts of the world, all cultures, colors. Just everybody's here for a different reason.
yeah,
And then on top of that, a lot of people that work at the club could tell you the first thing I was interested in finding out was about food and where to get different stuff, man. But here you can just find everything you want. Which,
yeah, yeah,
growing up in big cities, coming to a city like Houston's huge for me because I don't miss anything. I get all the food that I want. There's a lot
right.
of little pockets. I can go on and on about stuff I like about Houston and the city, but it's just a city that I liked from day one.
Yeah,
It didn't take me adapting or getting used to it to for it to grow on me. It just we clicked. Me and Houston clicked.
yeah. I mean, H Town is probably like one of the most underrated places in the U.S. because everybody talks Austin or Dallas, and
Yeah,
honestly, the diversity in Houston is insane.
it's
You
amazing.
got your African Americans, you got your Asian Americans, you got your Latin Americans, and then you got like all your companies out there. Like I know Toyota's out there, so it's
Yeah,
like you got a whole bunch of Japanese people out there too. So it's definitely a really diverse place, and it's a little underrated in my book. I think it needs to get a lot more Californians, and like
a
all
hundred
going to
percent.
Austin. So
Yeah,
yeah,
man. And then everybody mixes and has babies with the other culture. So you just
right, right, right,
at
right,
this point we don't know who's what anymore. It's awesome. I love it. I love that,
right,
man.
right. Uh, So, do you listen to any hip hop or anything like that, or
Yeah, I listen
like
to I listen to every single music you could think of, any
so
genre.
do you like Houston's kind of sound?
I do. I was talking
Yeah, yeah.
to somebody about this 3 days ago about
Mm,
um, what I appreciate about the Houston hip hop is I know once the beat drops from the beginning, even on the intro, it's a Houston track, and I
right,
like how it's specific to Houston, and I
right.
appreciate that. I really
Yeah,
do.
and I'm from the Bay Area, so like I definitely appreciate because we out here we got, or I'm not there, but like out there
Yeah,
we got a lot of hip hop influence. So Houston is kind of like the next up. They got a lot of hip hop influence nowadays.
for
So
sure,
it's nice to see like communities kind of uplifting their own music and being proud of it. So Houston's
hundred
definitely on the
percent.
map for that.
No,
Yeah.
that's key, man. I agree, hundred
Yeah.
percent, man.
Yeah, I mean, hyphy movement was crazy growing up, so it's definitely nice to see something coming out of Houston too.
That's awesome, man. The other
Yeah.
the thing I haven't gotten yet are the what are they, spinners? No, it's the swingers.
So,
Swingers.
the
Man,
door,
the swingers I haven't figured them out yet. They scare me on the road. But they again, once I got here and I saw them, I was like, I'm in Houston officially. Like this is awesome. I've seen them on movies and like
yeah,
videos,
right.
hip hop videos. I think I saw a few on one of the Mike Jones videos back in the day.
Yeah, yeah,
But when I saw that like live, I was like, no way. Like for us on the East Coast, we don't know anything about that. So when he saw this, I was like, this is awesome.
yeah. So since growing up in New York, like, does it ever come out? Like, does the accent ever come out?
It does. The guys in the locker room clown me.
Yeah,
Usually I can tone it down a bit, but
yeah,
if I'm like hype or if I'm emotional about something, it'll pop out really strong.
yeah,
Or if family's visiting, or if I've been around family. Usually when I come
yeah.
just back from off season, you can hear it a bit stronger. But for the most part, it's toned down a bit. But you'll hear it. You'll definitely hear it
Yeah.
here and there.
Like, someone asks you about basketball, it's over. The Knicks about to win it this year. Beat, what's good?
It's
We
that's my talk.
outside.
That's my talk every year, man. We've been rebuilding for about 20 years, but it's okay.
Yeah.
We'll get there slowly but surely. I think between the end of this year, next year, we're there. I've been saying that for
Yeah.
6 years now.
Randall's got to get a shot back though. So
He'll be there, and I heard we're getting Zion, but
yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be
that'll
something
be
else.
great,
That'd
man.
definitely
That'll be
nice.
awesome.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. So you are one of I think the only player to score in the Dallas Houston Derby for both teams. So how does that feel? I mean, talking a little bit about soccer now, how does that feel being able to score a goal for both of the teams in the heated rivalry?
It's great. Obviously, it feels better like when you're on this side now and
Yeah, yeah,
doing it against the old team, which all respect and love for my guys over there as well.
yeah.
But it's definitely those games are something special for the fans, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I pour out more in those games than the other games. Every game is very important, but I would say that knowing the importance of those games, you want to give something to your fans, whether it's home or away. Some of the fans that travel to Dallas when you go play them, and then
Right.
some of the ones that come, the ones that are here, and then knowing that the
Yeah.
Dallas fans are coming to give them a hard time. The same with the Austin game. You want to give your home fans bragging rights within the state, at least to,
Mm.
knowing especially how our year didn't go our way last year.
Yeah.
Something to give your fans at least to brag about, whether it be on the internet or with coworkers, whatever the case. So you just want to, try to bang in some goals. And obviously, I want to do
Yeah.
that every game, but if I can in those games as well, I know what it means to them as well.
Awesome, awesome. And a fan pointed out, speaking of Dallas a little bit, your Twitter still has your location in Dallas.
Yeah,
So
you're
are
gonna
you still
change that.
living? Yeah, yeah,
I had no clue it was still in Dallas. I didn't even know I switched it to Dallas at a point, to be honest.
yeah.
Okay.
I was like, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, I gotta switch that
The
up.
fans see everything.
I had no clue. Dang, that is rowdy.
Yeah. All right. So you just had your best MLS season to date last year. How do you feel going into this season?
I feel great. Honestly, I think apart from one of my seasons, I'd say like it's been a really really good 5 years.
Mm.
I would say it goes underrated. It's a nuisance to constantly be proving myself to people. Like,
Yeah.
if I was a player that came straight out of South America, and
Right. Right.
people would be like, "Oh yeah, all hail the DP," but I'm a domestic guy. Even though I played in Europe for years, I'm a
Yeah. Right.
domestic guy. To me, it makes no sense. It gets annoying, to be honest. Like,
And like you
you know,
almost grew up in Italy, like,
yeah, like I got a Kobe situation without the Kobe
right.
respect.
Right.
Not comparing myself to Kobe's level of greatness. I'm just saying, like, in terms of moving back and forth and
Right.
coming back and being at home, but not really being
Yeah.
treated like I don't even think people know I'm American. Sometimes it's really weird. But I'm happy with what I've done. I think it's just gonna keep getting better. And that's what I look forward to. I
Yeah.
don't know who doesn't believe anymore, but there's probably still people that don't believe. My job is just to keep doing what I do, and hopefully, obviously, we're all under a similar situation. We have a new front office. Obviously,
Yeah.
my goal here was to extend, and it hasn't happened yet, but
Mm.
I'm going to keep doing what I have to do to prove that. And obviously, you want to prove something as a group this year to the fans,
Yeah.
to make them believe again. I know it's hard for them because it's been years of the same thing. I'm a Knicks fan, so I get it. Um, but being on the player side, I know we're working very hard, and our job over here is to
Yeah.
to is to make the fans believe again. And I personally am going
Right.
to do everything I can to get that back too.
So I'm a Quakes fan. So hey, if it don't happen, I'll give someone a call. Like, but no, I was just gonna say a lot of Quakes fans think those 2 stars on Houston should definitely be the four for the Earthquakes because when they moved, they won those two. So it's like, oh man, come on.
It's salty.
Yeah, they always salty. The Quakes, like the zombie Quakes, they won two after us.
You
But
should say zombie quakes.
yeah, zombie Quakes. That's what they say. The zombie Quakes.
That's funny, man.
All right, um, so coming off an MVP caliber season, do you go into this season with like a different approach, or are you going to kind of do the same training you did last year, or are you going to put it up one level higher?
Yeah, the aim is always to get better.
Mm,
I think if you look at technology and medicine today, 30
yeah,
years old is still very young in this game compared to
yeah,
maybe 30 years old 10 years ago. If you take care of your
no, definitely.
body, you don't party hard. If you're responsible, do the right treatment,
Drink
respect
your mate.
respect the game, drink your mate, um, eat the right foods. I think you could prolong
Right.
your career. You look at a guy like Vardy who didn't peak until 30. Um,
Mm,
I think he got his first cap at 29 or 30 after
yeah,
coming
yeah,
through the ranks of 7th division in England,
yeah.
moving all the way up. So everybody has their own path. Everybody has their own timing.
Mm.
Um, Regardless of what it looks like, I still have my hopes for national team. Whether I
Yeah,
never
yeah,
go back again, I'm going to continue to let my stats speak for themselves.
yeah,
If people forget I'm American, so be it. And if they remember again, then that's even better. But for
yeah.
the moment, my goal is always to do better, and not get complacent with what I've done in recent past. I'm very happy about it, individually, but now it's to build off and continue to do that, if not better.
Awesome. I had this question for a little later, but speaking about the United States men's national team, having played for them, and I saw you drinking mate, with the United States
Yeah.
national team. What are your current thoughts about the team?
I think it's a very good team. It's a very young team. You have a lot of talents that are coming up. I think guys before me paved that way.
Mm,
Um, you look at some of these guys like Bees, Clint,
yeah.
Donovan, Gooch, Maurice, Ale. It's a long list, so I'm not trying to leave
Right.
anybody
Right.
out. But you look at these guys. These guys are hard nosed when we had to deal with
Yeah.
the stigma. Because when I went to Europe, we dealt with people thinking we were horrible. No matter
Yeah.
what those guys did before us, and we had to keep chipping to set a good example for future Americans. And I think I'm not going to say necessarily our generation, but the guys before us set that for the guys now to have opportunities countlessly in Europe. Um,
Yeah.
and it's great to see. I'm happy to see a lot of these young players doing well domestically and abroad. I think you can play anywhere,
Yeah.
and if you're able to perform, you're doing a fantastic job as long as you're doing your job. And obviously, I want to be a part of that group. I
Yeah.
think my performances have set me to be in that group. Um,
Definitely.
but I haven't gotten that opportunity again, and I'm just I want to continue to support from a distance, and if I do get the opportunity to jump right back in.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, if you keep up your numbers, there's no way they cannot call you, especially since all the MLS guys get looks nowadays and not
Yeah,
like the years prior where it was all European based, or if you were in MLS, you wouldn't really get a look. But
definitely.
I wanted to talk a little bit about the new regime coming into Houston. Do you feel like some of the guys that have come in can help Houston reach the next level alongside yourself?
Definitely, I think that was the goal in the off season, um, and obviously it was like a waiting game, not knowing who's coming,
Yeah.
who's gonna be who's gonna be back, and so coming into preseason, it's nice to see some new faces. And the goal of a player like myself is just to get some guys adapted. Not so much on the soccer side. I think everybody's professional; they know what they have to do. But
Mm-hmm.
more so, just welcoming people. I think the easier you welcome guys, the quicker you can get the chemistry going. So, just bringing everybody in with a hug and
Yeah.
getting things ready and being ready to grind together as a family and as a group.
All right. And so this is kind of a fun question I like to ask every interview that we have on Monday in Soccer. And what former teammate of yours would you like to come see play alongside you in Houston?
Oof, this is tough. If I can choose one, I would probably say Herol Inshallah.
Mm,
Shala played with me at Sparta Prague. He played
mm.
for Albania and then the Kosovo national team. He's currently in Turkey, but he's a really
Oh,
good friend of mine and was a fantastic player and just was a great all around teammate on and off the field. Really professional guy, and we had some good time, man. And then after my departure, we stayed in touch, and we probably FaceTime 2 3 times a week, or sometimes
oh wow.
we'll go 2 weeks without talking through FaceTime, but we're always sharing videos. So we have
Yeah.
a great friendship, but obviously you don't want a good friend that's trash on the field. So he's also a fantastic player. So
Yeah.
um, it would go hand in hand if I'm looking at both sides. He would probably be the best person I would bring alongside with me.
Awesome, awesome. So I have kind of these comments from you from this off season. You seemed a little disappointed with some comments about you that were incorrect this last off season. How do you feel with that on a personal side, and what do you have to say to all the young players out there that have to deal with this as well?
Which comments exactly?
Yeah, no worries. When someone called you a defensive winger instead of
Ah,
an offensive talent, yeah,
yeah. I mean, I take that. I mean, it gets annoying to be honest.
yeah,
Over the time, you score 11 goals, man. That's not a defensive winger. I do my job on both ends,
yeah,
um, but obviously you look at it. I look at my stats over the last 5 years.
mm,
If you look at the other wingers in the league, my numbers could easily be. I mean, from at least three of my season DP numbers.
yeah,
Um, and minus the COVID year. But apart from that, I'd say they've been DP numbers. I have to keep throwing my stats out there saying that I'm the leading American winging goal scorer for the last
yeah,
5 years. It's tiring to say because if the media doesn't say it for you, you have to say it for yourself. It's
yeah,
but as an athlete, you don't want to you don't want to self promote. You would
mm,
hope that people just automatically respect what you go do. But since people choose to put you in their own category,
yeah,
you have to dig yourself out of it every time. It's
yeah.
really frustrating.
And that's everything in life, right?
Oh,
Everything they always
100%.
want to put you in a category, right?
Yeah, I think for young players or any players, period, especially today, you can dictate what you can dictate how people perceive you because of
Yeah.
social media. You can say you can go on encounter maybe what somebody said. As to where before, maybe, before all of the technology, somebody
Yeah.
says something about you that's incorrect. You had to wait for another interview. Now somebody says something incorrect or you're not agreeing with, you're like, hey, I got 11 goals and 5 assists. I am not a defensive winger. So
Right, right.
um,
Yeah.
it allows, today's media allows you to be able to self promote, even if that's not your goal. You would
Yeah.
prefer people to just respect off of rip, but if that's not the case, I'd say just with respect, make sure you check people once in a while when they need to be
Yeah.
checked, so that you don't just get thrown in a category of what people
Right.
want to put you in.
Awesome. And Fafa, we'll help you out here. All right. No worries. No worries. I got you. I got you, bro. No
Appreciate
worries.
you, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No worries. So kind of want to end up on this note here. I know you're a big supporter of the Black Lives Matter movement and kind of all that stuff that happened during the COVID year. And now, so I wanted to talk a little bit about your Italian years. I know maybe you experienced some prejudices as African American or Haitian American, and I wanted you to kind of explain a little bit on your thoughts on those things.
There were definitely tough times, man. It was a bit rough. I want to say 2020 season when I did speak on it,
Mm,
and I received a lot of flack. Back in Italy, I received a lot of support too.
mm,
I received a
mm,
lot of messages from young kids at big clubs
mm,
that are still going through it, and my only regret was maybe not speaking on it earlier.
mm,
I felt like I had spoken on it so much and it just got ignored that I just got tired of speaking on it.
mm,
But maybe I could have said more and spoken on it earlier, that maybe it would have made a change, that those kids don't have to be going through it now. I think, I go back every year. It's like second home to me,
yeah,
Italy. And I think it exists everywhere. It's not
yeah,
just Italy. It's not just Germany. It's not just USA. It's just global. So it's very hard
yeah,
it's it's a racism in different forms. Some are more direct,
mm,
some are more hidden, some are a bit more hypocritical. So you kind of have to approach them different ways. But my biggest thing is pursue what you want, go after your goals,
mm,
especially as a young kid going through it. Don't stop, because your only way to get a voice is if people can hear your voice.
mm,
If no one can hear you, then you can't really speak on a lot of things. You don't have that audience to reach. So I'd say, to any young kids going through it, keep fighting for whatever you believe in. Don't stop. I didn't stop, even though it was very hard. I think I
yeah,
had to work 10 times a lot of people, and a lot of behind the scenes things that people don't know about, to get where I am today. A lot of things were taken from me, but I didn't see myself as a victim. I saw myself as a strong man that can get through
mm.
anything with God's help. So no matter what you're going through, whatever dungeon you feel like you're in, you can get out of that. So that's my word of encouragement to anybody, and anybody feeling oppressed or suppressed.
Yeah, and I appreciate those words of wisdom there. I mean, everybody listening to this can definitely take that away if they only take one thing away, and that's your story. And I appreciate you coming on the show, and thank you for telling us all about you, Fafa. I know you got to run, but I appreciate your time this morning, and I hope we do it soon
Appreciate you.
again. Maybe with the mate another time. You know.
Definitely, man. Next, I'll probably be having some within a few hours, man. So
Cool, dope. I no, I mean, maybe not me because it's like 12 o'clock at night, but maybe one
yeah,
other day.
you're not gonna sleep, man.
Yeah, but I appreciate your time today, and I think all the fans would definitely appreciate your time. And Houston is very excited for this season, and I have no doubt in my mind you're going to lead them to a playoff run. No doubt.
Definitely, man. I appreciate that, and I'm ready to do that, man. 100%.
All right, and Fafa, where can everybody find you if they don't know you already?
We're saying social media.
Yeah, if you would like, or maybe your address. You want to get some fan mail? Yeah,
Houston.
yeah,
I'm
yeah. No, social media, of course. My bad.
messing with you, man. You find me on on Instagram, Fafa Picault, on
Cool.
Twitter, Fafa Gold 23, and then if I'm in Houston, you'll find me at Toulouse or Copa
Yeah,
or somewhere else eating.
yeah.
You definitely run into me at a restaurant.
And Spotify Fafa, right? It's just Fafa.
Yeah, just Fafa. And iTunes as well.
Dope, dope. All right. Well, thank you so much. And this is Mate Soccer, and I appreciate your time, Fafa. Thank you.
Arigato.
Arigato. Thank you.
Ciao, brother.